Welcome to our Veterans Day program.
We are so glad we have this opportunity to honor veterans as a school.
Let's honor veterans by being silent and respectful in our classrooms while watching this presentation.
Take this time to learn about Veterans Day and how you can honor those that have served.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. After the pledge, stay standing for the national anthem. Please stand and remove your hats. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey Paisley, when is Veterans Day?
Veterans Day is November 11th every year.
Why do we celebrate it on November 11th?
We celebrate Veterans Day on November 11th because that is the day that President Woodrow Wilson proclaimed the observance of Armistice Day as the anniversary of Germany's surrender in World War I a year prior.
Wait a second, what's an armistice?
Well, an armistice is a peace treaty. The armistice was signed to help end World War I. In 1954, President Dwight D. Eisenhower officially changed the name of the holiday from Armistice Day to Veterans Day. Do you know how we can celebrate this holiday?
We can celebrate by participating in parades and church services, and in many places, the American flag is hung at half-mast. Another way we could take part in a moment of silence.
Now, for the moment of silence. The purpose of a moment of silence is to honor the veterans who have served and protected America. The proper way to do a moment of silence is to stand up, remove your hats, bow your head, and be silent. During the moment of silence, think about anyone you know who has served or is serving. You can think about how helpful the military is or how grateful you are to live in this wonderful country. Please join me for a moment of silence. Please stand and remove your hats. Begin the moment of silence now. Thank you. You may be seated.
When we fold the flag, we need to remember why we have our flag. It is a symbol of the wonderful country we live in. We have it because of those who served us. Our nation's flag has 13 stars for the original 13 colonies. The 50 stars are for the 50 states of America. The blue color on the flag is for justice and the white is for peace. The red means valor, which is to remind us of the brave who died for our freedom. All flags show that we belong to a community, organization, or nation, and that we share beliefs, goals, rules, and regulations. Folding the flag is very important. There are 13 folds, and every one of them is important. Today we have here with us several veterans from our community that are going to demonstrate how to fold our nation's flag and what each fold symbolizes. Please join us in welcoming our local veterans.
We are from the American Legion here in Tremont. I think between the bunch of us, we probably got 70 years or better. And so we have combat time. And it breaks our heart when we see people not wanting to stand up and respect that flag when we're either reciting the Pledge of Allegiance or the national anthem is playing. Because we see military, loading up a bunch of our comrades and our friends with a flag draped over their coffin into an airplane to come home to their family. Well, when you disrespect that flag, who you disrespecting? You're disrespecting them military people that have passed and died for the freedom. That's why we're standing here today. What we're going to do today is we're going to do the 13 folds of the flag. And we're going to tell you what each fold of that flag means. A tribute to our flag. In the armed forces of our great nation, each morning at Reveille, our flag is hoisted aloft to the top of its staff as a symbol of our belief in the resurrection of the body. In the evening, at retreat, it is lowered, and after taps has been sounded, it is folded into a triangular fold as a tribute to our nation's honored dead. The first fold of our flag is a symbol of life. The second fold is a symbol of our belief in an eternal life. The third fold is made in honor and remembrance of a veteran who gave a portion of his or her life for the defense of our country. The fourth fold represents our weaker nature and our faith in a living God, for it is through Him that we turn in times of peace as in times of war. The fifth fold is a tribute to our country. In the words of the immortal Stephen D. Decatur, our country, may she always be right in dealing with other countries, but right or wrong, she's still our country. Sixfold is where our hearts lie, for it is with our hearts that we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The seventh fold is a tribute to our armed forces, for it is through them that our country and our flag is protected against all our enemies, whether they are found within our boundaries or our republic. The eighth fold is a tribute to those who entered into the valley of the shadow of death, that we might see the light of day. This fold is made in honor of mothers who it flies on Mother's Day. The ninth fold is a tribute to womanhood, for it has been through their faith, love, devotion, and loyalty that the characters of those great men who helped shape the destiny of this republic are molded. Tenfold is a tribute to Father, for he too has given of his sons and daughters for the defense of our nation. We fold from the stripes toward the stars, for whereas the stripes represent the 13 original colonies, they are now embroidered in the 50 solitary states represented by the stars. The 11th fold is for the eyes of the Hebrew citizen. This represents the lower portion of the seal of King David and King Solomon, and glorifies in her eyes the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. The 12th fold, in the eyes of the Christian citizens, represents an emblem of eternity and glorifies in their eyes God the Eternal Father, His Son Jesus Christ, and the Holy Ghost. The 13th fold is a reminder to all of us of the sacrifice, suffering, and bloodshed by those of the original 13 colonies who never gave up hope nor courage for the day they would be free from the yoke of tyranny imposed upon them by their mother country. The flag is now completely folded with the stars uppermost, which reminds us of our nation's motto, "In God We Trust." The flag now takes on the appearance of a cocked hat, ever reminding us of the soldiers who served under General George Washington and the sailors and Marines who served under Captain John Paul Jones. They, followed by their comrades and shipmates down through the years, have preserved for us the rights, privileges, and freedoms which we enjoy today. It is a duty, an obligation of every American to uphold, defend, and preserve these stars and stripes. Old Glory.
Thank you for that demonstration. Now we are going to listen to our school choir sing "O America." Sit back and enjoy.
Now, we will be sharing some of our patriotic essays. In language arts, some of us have been able to have an opportunity to show why we love America and how we can be a good American. Here are a few examples. America is like an eagle, always soaring high in the sky. I promise to be a good American by being involved with my country and community, establishing a clean, healthy home, and by always showing kindness and empathy for others, no matter where they come from or how they look like. I believe in being a good citizen because many men and women have given their lives to establish a clean, equal country in America. We are so lucky because we can be or do anything we want.
Being a good American is important to me, so that is why I feel serving others and doing any form of consideration to those around you makes you and the people who witness the act happier and stronger within. Kindness to me is a big key to being an outstanding American, and it can be spread just as any type of virus can be spread. Service is also very important to me because it is something you can do willingly without getting paid to do it. These are only two of the very many important characteristics that make anyone a good American. Clearly, service and kindness are fabulous, great ways that anyone can be a good American.
Respect is one of the things I think good Americans should have. One way to show respect is to respect the people. People are what make America, and if we don't respect each other, then everything would be in chaos. As I think about the past, I now know how far we have come and how far we could go. We make the future. Another way to show respect is towards the environment and the places we live. In order for us to live happy, free lives, we need to keep our homes and streets clean. My grandpa served in the Korean War. I believed he deserved respect for what he did for us, and I wish I had more time to show him that respect.
Another great way to be a good American is to be a good leader for yourself and others. There are many ways to be a good leader. Some good traits a leader has are honesty, respect, and kindness. These are good traits because it is important to be honest with all we do and say. It is also important to be respectful and kind to everyone. Anyone can be a leader, no matter who they are. In conclusion, there is a lot to being a good American. It is important to be involved with our community, be respectful, do service, be kind, and be honest.
America is the land of the free and the home of the brave. One of the bravest things one can do is risk it all and put on the uniform to defend our country. Each branch dedicates themselves to protecting, defending, and maintaining the freedom and liberties of the nation together. The 5 branches make up the majority of the military, and each separately serves a special role within the military. Let's take a look at each branch and what makes them unique.
The Navy is one of the branches of the military. They also help protect the seas from the foes of the USA.
My great uncle Sonny Gilbert, he also served in the Vietnam War. He was in the Navy and rode on a ship. He would serve his country and as a deckhand by going to rescue other damaged ships and members in the battle, rendering life-saving service.
Someone once said the sea is a force to be reckoned with. People have been made by it and broken by it, but the Navy, we command it. The sea is our honor, courage, and commitment, forging the greatest force on the earth, America's Navy.
With 323,000 active and 109 personnel, the U.S. Navy is the world's largest in terms of manpower. Our Navy also maintains an impressive fleet with 288 battle force ships, 10 aircraft carriers, 9 ambitious assault ships, 22 cruisers, 62 destroyers, 17 freighters, 72 submarines, and 3,700 aircraft.
The Air Force plays a very important part in the United States safety. The Air Force takes mental, emotional, and physical steps to become successful.
Air Force basic training takes 8.5 weeks. It is hardcore and takes a lot of strength and devotion.
The Air Force's main missions are to fly, fight, and win air power anytime, anywhere.
The Air Force is very important in our military, and we have to work hard to do what they do. Who knows, maybe that will be your future.
Did you know the Coast Guard protects America's national and border security?
Soldiers in the Coast Guard have to train for 8 weeks in order to serve in the Coast Guard.
The Coast Guard has served in all of our nation's wars and conflicts. The Coast Guard has a long and distinguished history of service, participating in events that aided in the formation of our incredible nation. The Coast Guard's versatile, unique abilities have been invaluable to our country for over 220 years.
The Army is older than America. The Army was made in 1775 so we could defend the almost made country. There are over 500 military dogs that are currently in service.
Without veterans, there would be no protection. Then there would be wars here and there. The soldiers in the Army are very brave. They protect the country and risk their lives so that we don't have to.
The Army is a powerful fighting force defending and serving our nation by land and sea and air.
They fight and risk their lives just for liberty.
Have you ever heard about the Marines? A Marine's job is to provide an ever-ready, quick-strike force to protect U.S. interests anywhere in the world. Some of you may be wondering the difference between the Marines and other branches. The Marines serve on land and aboard sea-going amphibious warfare ships around the world. The Marines carry $14,000 worth of gear. That's a lot. Can you imagine wearing all of that?
These brave and determined Marines' first land battle on foreign soil was in Libya. It's amazing what they do.
Now we will listen to a song from each branch of the military. If you know someone that served or is serving in that branch, stand up for that song to honor them, and then when that song is over, please sit down.
My great-grandpa, Boyd Peterson, served in the United States Army 6th Infantry in Texas and California. He was 19 years old when he decided to volunteer to serve so that he could choose what his job would be instead of risk of being drafted. Part of his duty was to do the dishes and dinner. My grandpa said that he loved everything about serving, from the training to the actual serving. He said it was all a great experience. He thinks that we should celebrate Veterans Day because the men and women who serve our country should be honored for keeping us safe and fighting for our freedoms. My grandpa said that we can celebrate Veterans Day by not protesting and show respect to our military now. A funny story that my grandfather shared was that one morning when he got assigned to make breakfast, and during the night, a group of the men that he was serving with took most of the eggs to the store to trade for stuff. So when they woke up in the morning, they didn't have enough eggs for breakfast. So they decided to add a baking powder into the eggs to fluff them up. And so every time the door would open and a cold breeze would flow in, the eggs would go flat.
My dad his name is Keith Sano, and he served in the Army National Guard. He was a corporal, and when he was 17 years old when he joined, and he served for 4 years. The reason he chose to serve was because of duty to his country. He served in operations Desert Storm and Enduring Freedom. And he has some advice if you ever find yourself in the Middle East. Only shake hands and eat with your right hand. The answer becomes more obvious when you use a local toilet, where you find 2 foot grips on the side of a hole. Near that hole, you find a simple water hose. There is no toilet paper, thus you find the reason for your left hand.
This is my neighbor Rachel. She's in the Air Force.
I served in the Air Force for 2.5 years. I was honorably discharged at that time, but during the time, my duties started off with going to basic training for 2 months, and then my other duty after that, I went to tech school, which my duties were studying and learning how to do my job for 7 months, and then after that, I got stationed at Fairchild Air Force Base in Spokane, Washington, and my duties there were to fix avionic components on aircraft. I was an avionics technician for the KC-135 Stratotanker, or the Flying Gas Station. My jobs were to fix the radios specifically and GPS systems, and then after that, a few months of doing that, I got sent to what we call CTK, or the Consolidated Toolkits Checkout Center, where we check out every individual tool for the flight line and have to account for everything that goes out and everything that comes back in and make sure it's all still there.
My uncle Curtis Larson served in the Army and Air Force at ages 18 through 31. He served 7 years in the Army and 4 years in the Air Force. When he was in the Army, he shot the howitzer, which is a huge cannon. When he was in the Air Force, he loaded planes with bullets. My uncle takes Veterans Day very seriously and believes that not only should we honor our veterans on Veterans Day, but honor them every day. My uncle feels that being in the military prepares you for challenges in your life and teaches you many things, including being independent, following orders, and being able to depend on the people to help you. Something interesting that my uncle got to do was be there when they found someone's remains from the Pearl Harbor. My uncle is very proud of everyone who has served and who is serving right now.
My uncle Steve Koyman served in the Air Force. He was 23 when he joined, and he's been serving for 18 years. He chose to serve because he wanted to help our country. He served in the Middle East during some of his operations: Operation Iraqi Freedom, Enduring Freedom, New Dawn, and Inherent Resolve. Some of his duties were security and air-base defense. He feels it's important to celebrate Veterans Day because we should remember all of the sacrifices people have made to defend our country. He says we can honor veterans by finding and telling a veteran that we are thankful for their service.
My uncle Braxton Conger is currently serving in the Army on duty out of state.
Hi, my name is Staff Sergeant Braxton Conger. The first question that Ella asked was, why did I join the military? So I joined the United States Army. So I am a soldier in the Army currently, as you can see with the uniform. The reason that I decided to join is I felt that as a citizen I had a responsibility to my community and to my fellow citizens to serve in some capacity. And I felt that by joining the military that I could honor that commitment. The next question that Ella had was if I had any stories that I wanted to share. And the one that came to mind, I was deployed to Afghanistan in 2018, and I had the opportunity to meet and interact with a whole bunch of different countries and people from different countries. And I was able to work with an Australian captain named Scott Minchin. And Scott went by the nickname Minchie. The Australians are really big on nicknames, especially names that end in Y. And he was a very big sports fan, to the point he asked me, hey, where are you from? And I said, oh, I'm from Utah. And he said, okay, so Utah Jazz, right? Pretty typical. It's a large, national NBA team. But then he also said, you also have the Ogden Raptors there in Utah, correct? And I was pretty blown away, right? This guy from Australia knew about a local minor league baseball team. So I made sure that Minchie got a beanie. He really loved beanies, so I made sure to get him a Utah Jazz and Ogden Raptor beanie.
I am grateful for his service. So this is my grandpa. His name is Neil Polson. He served in the Air Force. He served during the Vietnam War, and one of his duties was getting prisoners, American prisoners, back to being patriots and Americans. How old were you when you enlisted?
22,
How long did you serve in the Air Force?
24 years.
Why did you choose to serve in the military?
I was sent a nice little note from Uncle Sam saying, we want you. So I did. I went to the Navy, and I knew I didn't want to be in the Navy because they only have two kinds of ships, and that's submarines and targets. Then I knew I didn't want to be in the Marine Corps because I had seen too many of my friends who were coming home from the Vietnam War in flag-draped coffins. So I went to the Army, and the Army looked at me and they said, oh, you got stuff we need. And I thought, well, that doesn't sound too bad till I started doing my research. And I realized that the warrant officers in the Army were like low-ranking officers, but they were the ones flying the Black Hawk helicopters into the big war zones, and their life expectancy was little to nothing. So I went to the Air Force then on the 17th of May of 1966, but I enlisted in the Air Force, and they sent me to Amarillo Air Force Base in Texas for basic training. And so what they did, they turned me over and gave me a administrative career field, which meant I was going to be working with computers and administrative paperwork, and I eventually was going to end up working for a 2, 3, or 4-star general above me. I had to learn a whole lot of lessons, but it didn't take me long to learn the lesson that was important, and that was to make my general look good. So a lot of my stuff I was flying a desk. I had a pretty good eye on English and the translations and the punctuations and all of that. And all of that stuff is what the general loved, because it made him look good, because he wasn't looking like he was a dummy. He knew how to speak. I got into places where I had to have this top secret clearance. Anybody asked me what I did in the Air Force, because I hold a top secret clearance. If I tell you anything that I do, I got to kill you. There was 2 officers that were there at my retirement ceremony. And then I looked out there, and there was a standing room only crowd of these youngster men and women that had worked with and for me for 24 years out there to say, way to go, Sarge, good job. And all of them were young. And that to me said that I had done something right for more than just me.
It's something right for America, for all of America.
I tried real hard to make sure that happened too. Thank you.
Thank you for participating in our program and being proud of our country and the brave men and women who fought for it.
You can learn more about the history of Veterans Day by
searching on the internet,
asking your parents,
reading books about veterans,
and asking actual veterans about it.
And I hope you guys enjoyed our program and learned to have gratitude towards our veterans.